Hello, everyone, and welcome to the free SEO Essentials webinar, Mobilegeddon, brought to you by Professional and Continuing Education at Oregon State University and presented by Kate Morris of Outspoken Media. This webinar is brought to you as part of the Digital Brand Management program here at PACE. The third installment in this program is our upcoming Search Engine Optimization and Search Engine Marketing course that begins on June 15th, so it's right around the corner. There is still time to register. If you'd like to ask about the course, feel free to email us or call us. Our email is learn@oregonstate.edu. Of course, you can always go online at pace.oregonstate.edu/SEO. The course is primarily designed for beginning marketers or professional marketers who are making a transition from the traditional to digital marketing. Feel free to reach out to us should you have any questions. And it is led by our wonderful presenter here, Kate Morris. And with that, I will let Kate take it away and let her introduce a little bit about herself and go from there.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to start with the I guess warning. I work from home, so you might hear a cat or two meowing. They are asleep right now, but I like to warn everybody when I'm on a call. My name is Kate Morris. I have been in search marketing for 12 years now. I got started back in the day when PPC was run manually, when you wanted to shut things off. If you're in a B2B type situation, when you wanted to shut that off for the weekend, you had to do it keyword by keyword. I remember when there was a PPC called Overture, and back when AdWords was just a tiny little baby getting into everything. So I've been doing this for a very long time, and I absolutely love teaching it because my background is in marketing. I got my bachelor's degree in marketing and a master's degree in business with a focus on marketing. So I love to teach. I love to hear questions. And I hope you guys join us for the class because I have an absolutely great time helping people along there. So we will get started. Let's see if I can, there we go. Okay, all right, cool. We're going to talk about Mobilegeddon, but I think you're going to be interested in what the more underlying issue is, which is dealing with Google algorithm updates. For Mobilegeddon, we heard for years, and I do mean years, that every year was going to be the year of mobile. And I went through and I picked out every single year I could find that a major publication said that that year was going to be the year of mobile, all the way back to 2007. And every single year at the next year, they were like, okay, no, really, it's finally the year of mobile. Well, it kept not happening until this year. We can see that basically we saw rises every single year in the number of people using the mobile internet. But what we also saw was just recently that everybody touts how much people use their mobile phone to access the internet. But what a lot of people miss is that a lot of that, and I'm sorry, the picture kind of got cut off, is that a lot of the mobile internet usage is via apps. And it really comes down to two apps, Amazon and Facebook. I would guess that most of you access the internet via your phone to play games, get on social media, or shop. And that is actually the bulk of what people get online to do. But when it came to search, when it came to people identifying information and new businesses and new products and new services via their phone, that was still a little tricky. I couldn't find a lot of information for a speech that I did for SMX West earlier this year. I couldn't find any numbers saying exactly how many people were searching. There's a lot about people using their phones to access the internet, but not a lot about searching. With Mobilegeddon happening, Google did recently say, and I'm talking about just in the last few weeks. They did say that mobile searches have finally exceeded desktop, but they have not given us a percentage. So I can't give you really good percentages, but what I can tell you is that I went ahead and pulled numbers from clients at Outspoken Media, and that personal study was small. It was a sample size of 14, so please don't take it as absolute truth. But for our clients, which are across e-commerce, consumer, all the way to business, so it was actually a very nice sampling. We saw that 57% of searches is done on the desktop still, but 43% is done on a mobile device. So apparently that has gone up a little bit, and I think it changes depending on whatever market you're in. If you are in a locally focused market, if you run a local pizza shop, you're going to have a lot of local traffic. If you are selling products that you sell nationwide, maybe not as much as that local business. So mobile search is definitely growing, but it's not the same as mobile usage. With Google coming out with this mobile update, that's what we're going to call it, 2015 really is the year of mobile. Everybody is there, everybody is using mobile devices, and it's no longer a question of, is this happening? It actually is. So when I talk about the mobile algorithm update, I want to define it for you. I went ahead and made up a dictionary entry myself. The other two definitions are more funny than anything else. But Mobilegeddon is the period after April 21st, 2015, which is the date Google gave us, which was very weird because Google doesn't typically give us absolute dates. But in their words, it's the point that their algorithm would expand its use of considering mobile friendliness as a ranking factor in organic mobile search results. Now, what I want you to focus in on is the fact that they said that it would expand its use of considering mobile friendliness. That means that they were doing it prior to April 21st. And if you use your phone to do mobile searches, you saw that. You saw that there were little instances of, hey, we don't think this is mobile optimized, but we're going to show it to you anyway. They were actively deterring searchers from non-mobile optimized results. This was just an expansion of it. But what caused the results from all of this is all of a sudden developers had all sorts of executives asking for mobile-friendly websites, and marketing teams were going to web development firms going, hey, we need a mobile-friendly website before April 21st. But the great result was that now websites are becoming more friendly to the mobile population. For anybody that has searched for a restaurant that they want to go to and not gotten a website that was just absolutely horrible on your mobile phone and all you really wanted was the menu, this is a good thing for the consumer, because now we're going to get stuff that actually helps the consumer find what information they need at that point in time. So the short thing is that this algorithm update are making mobile-friendly pages rank better. I stole this picture from Google, from their announcement. If you have a site that looks like the image on the left, that's not going to rank as well as the image on the right, which is a more responsive-looking, mobile-optimized site, as opposed to the image on the left, where you would have to pinch. You'd have to pinch to expand to see everything. So they want everything, Google wants everything to be very well optimized for the user. The update is only for mobile search. We weren't 100% sure of it because we weren't sure what the impact was going to be. And by the way, when I say we, I'm talking about search engine marketers as a whole. But Google did come out and explicitly say this update was only for mobile search, meaning if you didn't have a mobile optimized site, your regular rankings when somebody searched from a desktop computer, either a laptop or an actual desktop, your results there would not be impacted. It was only for people searching from a mobile device. a tablet, a smartphone, things like that. So this had no impact on major, what we would consider typical ranking results. It only impacted mobile search results. Sorry, screen didn't want to move forward. And I wanted to give you guys a couple of tools. So the first one, and both of these are from Google, it's really nice of them. The first one is the mobile-friendly tool. That one will allow you to check to see if your site shows up nicely, what it looks like, things like that. The mobile usability report inside of Search Console will allow you to see any errors, any issues that people might have that Google has come across. So this is the aspect ratio, I think they call it, is too small, or the things that people would click on, the buttons, the links people would click on are too close together. Those are both examples of warnings. That mobile usability report will tell you exactly the issues that Google thinks that either your mobile site or your responsive design has. And if you haven't claimed your site inside of Search Console, now I'm going to stop for a second. Google Webmaster Tools, which you will hear inside of the course referred to as Google Webmaster Tools, they recently renamed it to Google Search Console. So you'll hear me reference both of those names. It's the same thing. They just decided to rename it to Search Console, but you'll see that in their URL, they still call it Webmaster Tools. So forgive me if I slip in and out of those two naming conventions. But that report allows you to see any of the issues with your site. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My pointer doesn't want to let me forward. All right. So let's say that your site isn't mobile friendly. The only thing that is going to happen is your site will show up less and less highly in results, in mobile results, not overall results. And some warnings might pop up if you are deemed the best result, but you're not mobily optimized. On the left, we have a search result where there is a mobile-friendly page. And Google will say inside of the search results, this is mobile-friendly. However, if it's not mobile-friendly and it's something that is very specific, somebody searches for your brand, somebody searches for something absolutely particular, Google will still give that result, but they'll warn people that it's not the best result, or it might redirect them to the home page. Because I don't know about you guys, but I always get really irritated when I click on something and what I asked for is not what I get. I keep trying to use my keyboard and it doesn't work. Forgive me, guys. All right. So the next thing I wanted to go over, now that we know what this is, now that we know what could potentially happen, I want to go over really quickly what your options are. There are three types of ways to make your site mobile friendly, and I just want to go over these very quickly. The first is dynamic serving. So with dynamic serving, this is not the best option, but what it does is it serves different content based on the type of device the user is currently using. We used to do this 5 to 7 years ago when iPhones were all the rage and there weren't that many smartphones on the market at that point. So people would go, okay, well, I want you to serve this content to all iPhones. This dynamic serving allows you to show content differently to iPhones than you would a Samsung Galaxy S6. Now, if your content does need to change based on the device, I totally understand that. If you're offering an app and you for some reason want to offer up different content, there's some reason to do that. This is an option, but I don't recommend this option. The second option is doing a completely separate mobile site. So you'll see this as content hosted on a subdomain, so m.whateveryourdomain.com, or a subfolder, which will be yourdomain.com/m, and then continues the rest of the URL. This content is wholly different than the main site, and it's optimized for mobile. So there are different URLs for the mobile content than there are for the desktop content. Some developers prefer this, and this is not wrong. You just have to deal with maintaining different pages and optimizing for link equity when you have two different URLs. So it's not the best, but it totally works. The best option in terms of maintenance and search engine optimization is going to be a fully responsive site. And this is developing a site that the same content is used, it's just that the content reorders based on the screen size. So you'll see this if you want to know if the site is responsive. You can do it on your computer. Just go to the website in question and drag the window down to the size of a smartphone. And if the content changes with that screen size change, that's a responsive site. It's just a really quick, easy way of testing that. So those are your three options for developing a mobile site. So I'm going to take a moment there to gather everybody's thoughts. We have gone over what this update was, how it could potentially impact you, and what your options are when it comes to developing a mobile-friendly site. But I want to show you guys what the impact of Mobilegeddon was, and it was nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Across the board, we saw now the results here are of a client that should have had a major impact. They did not have a mobile-friendly site. They are heavy in mobile traffic. They sell products that people might buy from their phone. And as of April 21st, after that point, they saw no drop in organic traffic. And that's exactly what this report shows. I'm looking at mobile and tablet traffic only, and I'm looking at organic search. They saw absolutely no impact, and we weren't the only ones. There was a number of articles after the fact going, nothing happened. Moz didn't see anything happen. The writers at Search Engine Land saw absolutely nothing happened. I think what Google did was gave it a nice press push to make sure that people were taking it seriously. They want mobile customers to get the best results. They want to help mobile customers, mobile consumers, mobile searchers get the best results possible. And so truthfully, I think they used this Mobilegeddon update as, I hate to say it, a scare tactic. They used it as, you need to get this done, otherwise you could lose traffic. And what happened? Everybody took the initiative and they started making their sites mobilely optimized if they weren't already so. So it was absolutely fantastic. But it didn't, no one lost a lot of traffic. So we don't have any instances. I don't have any clients that have any instances, and I haven't heard of anybody else that has any instances of just absolute loss in traffic. So what do you do about this? We had this big update, everybody was talking about it, and then nothing happened. What do you do with that? And that's why we actually changed the focus of this webinar from Mobilegeddon and how to deal with it to really dealing with algorithm updates, because this wasn't a Panda or a Penguin update. This didn't have a major impact, but people got very scared, and I want all of you to understand how to deal with algorithm updates as they happen, because Google's going to keep bringing on updates. They're going to try to get better. They make money off of advertising, and people only use Google because they get the best results. So it's in Google's best interests to make sure that they're getting the best results possible. So they're going to keep modifying how they do things, and it's to make sure that they're giving the best results to people. So rather than asking what the algorithm updates are going to be, ask what they're trying to combat, which is what I just told you. It's poor results in search that are not what Google's users are looking for. They're always going to be optimizing for the best user experience. So to stay ahead of the curve, if you just want to not worry about algorithm updates ever again, and you really shouldn't worry about them, there really are 4 steps. Now, it sounds easy, I know. Yes, Kate, 4 steps. It's not like step 1, put your foot forward. The first step is to follow the SEO basics, and I will go over those in just a minute. Second step is spend time getting to know your customer. And in fact, this is actually what I see on my end as a consultant that deals with a lot of clients. This is a step a lot of people skip. They don't take the time, they don't get out from behind their desk to call their customers, to spend time in the store, to identify, take one day a month, sit with your customer service people, sit with your data, identify who your best customers are. Do you have a customer that keeps coming back to buy from you? If you are in a B2B type space where you sell something that is a $20,000, $30,000 thing and they're not going to really be repeat buyers, identify who talks about you, if at all. And it doesn't have to be, I'm not talking on Facebook and Twitter and all of those big places. If you're B2B, no one's going to talk about your stuff inside of those areas. But who's recommending you? Who is sending business to you because they absolutely loved the service? Identify who your best customers are and send them something. Get them to spend some time with you on the phone and identify how it is that they found you, what they loved the most. And if you do this on a semi-regular basis, you'll start to understand what it is that you need to be marketing, what your message is, and how that works and what that message can be online. That helps you get more customers. That helps you build content. We always talk about how content is king. Well, if you want to know what content to develop, keyword research is only going to get you so far. Talking to your customers is going to give you all of the insight that you need. So definitely pay attention to step 2. And the third thing is everything you do on your website should be for the users. And it's to get the right users on the site, not as many as possible. One of the worst things you can do coming to an agency or getting help is to say, we just want more traffic. Your ask should be, we want more good traffic. We want traffic that is going to buy from us. We want traffic that is going to ask for our help. We want more leads. You should be doing stuff to make sure that you get the right users to the site, not just as many as possible. And the last thing is, don't take shortcuts. If you ever find a quick and easy way to get links, a quick and easy way to get more traffic to your site, it's going to hurt you. All of Google's algorithm updates recently have been to combat the quick and easy ways of doing things. If you want to do things right, you have to do them right. And so for the SEO basics, this is what we teach in the class. It's the 4 major areas. If you're going to distill search marketing into 4 things, SEO basics, it's going to be site structure, which is making sure that search engines can access and index all of your relevant site content. And what I mean by relevant is there are some times where you have pages that they're great for users, but they don't need to be in the search index, meaning people are not going to Google that information, but it needs to be there if they are going to click around your site for it. It happens more often than you would think. Then there's site optimization, and that is what everybody thinks of. It's using the terms your customers search with as the terminology on your site. This comes into not only keyword research, it comes into understanding how your customers phrase your products or services. But with site optimization, you have to make sure not to over-optimize. Stuffing your title tag with keywords, using the meta keywords tag is, of course, not recommended. Anything that seems like an SEO worked on your site is bad. You want to look like you just understand what people are asking for. You want your titles to read efficiently, but you want them to have the right terms inside of that. Then there's content development. That is highly important. You always need to have the right information that potential customers need, and make sure that you have different information that is informational when people just want to know some stuff without buying just yet. There's navigational, which is getting around the site, answering their questions if they have already come across you and they're a little bit closer in. And then entertaining. The entertaining stuff is what's going to be shareable and going to give the ammo to your best customers to get other people to visit your site. And then lastly, it's promotion. This is not about link building. This is about promotion, which is why I professionally have I've tried to stop using the term link building, because promotion is much more important. If you get a link out of it that sends you traffic, that sends you qualified customers, that is the best link you can get. Because even if someday that link equity didn't count anymore, you would still be getting really good traffic and really good recommendations from that. Promotion is all about telling people about what you're doing, about the information and products that you have available, and that is what's going to make the biggest impact. And of course, your customers. I cannot be overstated. I'm going to say this a few times, how important it is, and it's bigger than a simple survey. What I talked about before, you have to get away from behind your computer to do this. You have to actually have real conversations. You cannot perform well in search today without information about your customers, and I'm talking about more than just demographics. You actually have to spend time getting to know them, what issues they're facing to do with your products or services, but also what issues they're facing outside of that are ancillary to that. Because if you can understand their world, you can provide the information that's going to get their attention. And then focus your goals on conversion. Again, don't focus on getting as much traffic as you can get. All of your goals should be based on whatever makes you money. If it's traffic that makes you money because you sell advertising, I totally understand the focus on traffic. But if you earn money by leads and getting those leads to your sales team, or if you earn money by selling products, your goals for search should be centered on conversions. Doing anything just for search, doing anything to just get traffic will backfire. Google will do something to take that tactic away. And my last one, don't take shortcuts. Okay, I went over this earlier, but these are my examples of what I mean by don't take shortcuts. Don't spend $500 to get 1,000 links. Don't make 50,000 pages for your site without writing content, aka taking the content from somebody else. And definitely don't pay someone $20 to write an article for you. If somebody tried to pay you $20 to write an article, how good would that article be? Always think about it in terms of that. You want the best for your customers. You want the best for your brand. Be sure that you have the budget for that. And that is my presentation. So I'm going to turn it back over to Amanda.
Well, thank you for that, Kate. So we're at the Q&A portion of the site. You should have a box toward the right-hand side of your screen labeled questions. Feel free to type something in there, and I will make sure that Kate is able to answer it. So we have John has stated that's super, and thank you.
Thank you, John. I'm going through Amanda. If you're still here, John and Amanda, thank you so much. John asked if they can download the presentation.
Okay. We will make a recording of the presentation available. You should receive it in your email inbox within the next 24 to 48 hours. And as long as Kate is okay with it, we will actually send the PowerPoint presentation along as well so that you have access to the links and everything presented.
Hi, Dharma. I think you were one of my students, right? Yes, you were. Come on, guys, anything. Anything you have there. Oh. Hi, Maria. Let's see if I can expand this thing. Doesn't like to. Maria has a question. How am I doing surveys in person? If I do surveys, they are actually sometimes in person. It's more of an interview if it's that. I personally, if you do surveys to your current customer base, how you do them is entirely up to you. It can be as simple as SurveyMonkey. That's free for the most part. If you're just looking for overall insight into if people, just the general public, is interested in a new product or a new service, I use Google Consumer Surveys because that goes out to a wide range of very engaged technical people that are signed up for Google Consumer Surveys. But typically, the best way to go about it to identify people that are interested in helping you out and having conversations is to do a survey to the customers' emails that you have right now, and via SurveyMonkey, any one of those services is just fine, and then asking for permission to contact them directly. Maria asked, how important is PageRank? PageRank isn't important, so let me clarify that. PageRank was a metric that Google came up with years ago. It was the associated strength of a page based on a number of metrics, the biggest one being the number of links. However, Google has retired PageRank. They don't update it anymore. They have their own internal strength measure, but we don't get to see it anymore. Something that we use as an industry to identify how strong a page is called page authority. Page authority is specific to the page, and then there's domain authority, which is specific to your entire domain. And those metrics can be seen using Open Site Explorer, which is a tool by Moz. That is a way to see the same type of information, but PageRank is definitely not something you should be worried about anymore. Okay. Amanda, you asked, can you clarify a bit more on mobile search versus mobile usage? When you say usage, is that just mean I have own and use a mobile device? Yes. Okay, so when I said mobile internet usage, that was just you have a phone that's connected to the internet and you use it for any internet-based thing, checking your email, getting on Facebook, using any app that then connects to the internet for any reason. So any of your games that are connected to Facebook, that you share anything with friends, you can see friend scores. Most games today connect to the internet. So all of that is mobile usage. Mobile search, however, are the people that use Google, Bing, anything, any search engine specifically. I'm not necessarily talking about Siri, but they go to a search engine to look for something and click on results from there. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to mobile search. Let's see. Dharma asked, how do you convince a customer of the value to invest in a structured approach to marketing, including or most especially getting to know your customer, taking the time to identify company goals, consistent voice and personas? It is difficult. So Dharma, I'm not going to lie. Convincing a customer that they need to invest in the bigger marketing picture. I actually typically show them examples, and there are tons around the web, of companies that didn't do that, that they bought links, that they took shortcuts. And these are all of the people that complain that Google is killing their business. So all you really have to do is Google, Google's killing my business, or I lost my business because of Panda. I lost my business because of Penguin. You can get lots of instances of people that lost a lot of their traffic because they were taking shortcuts. They were creating thousands upon thousands of pages of content, and it was working for a time, and it's not working anymore. Depending on what the potential customer wants to do, I can show them that that doesn't work anymore. But if it's something that they only want link building, they only want to do the short-term kind of stuff, they only want to talk about PageRank, that's a customer that we actually pass on. So we try to educate, but if we can't educate, there are plenty of companies willing to do that stuff for them, and we try to warn them that that's not the way to go. But if they really want to do that, typically we let them go, and we let them, I hate to say this, fail. And when they fail, they come back to us. So typically we end up working with a lot of companies that have penalties due to backlinks, or lost all of their traffic because they have really, really thin content. And they come back to us, and we have to do cleanup in addition to the marketing that they should have done to begin with, and that costs more money, which is what we try to tell them in the beginning, but sometimes it happens. So don't succumb to people trying to get you to do link buying or any of the other things that are very, very short term and could hurt them. The best thing for you to do as a consultant is to inform them of the risks, and if they still want to do it, let them go. Maria asked, is there a page where I can find the page authority on pages I'm working on? Maria, sorry guys, I'm going in order. So you might be typing in stuff, and I'll get to it later. So Maria, you can go to, just Google Open Site Explorer, opensiteexplorer.com, and you can input any page, any website. It will tell you the page authority and domain authority for that particular page. What website builders do I recommend? I actually don't like a lot of them. I'm sorry. Squarespace is a weird one for me. I worked with Squarespace when I worked with a former customer, a former client, Shutterstock, and they had their blog, which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, built with Squarespace, and it was the first major big site that Squarespace worked with, and from a search standpoint, it didn't work out well for them. So I kind of have a distaste in my mouth for Squarespace when it comes to being search optimized. I'm not a big fan. However, that was about 2 years ago, so it might have changed since then. I think they make absolutely beautiful websites, but not the best optimized. I hate to be this generic, but usually the best way to go is to find somebody that has really great reviews, that you can get a word of mouth review from other businesses in your area, that they're either good at building their own websites or they can build you a site in WordPress. I really hate saying WordPress, but it is still the best option, especially for small businesses. There are lots of really great plugins for that do all of the search work for you. I'm just not a big fan of Squarespace. Alexander asked, what advice do you have for sites that have no physical product except the distribution of information? That is a broad question. I would say focus on how you're going to make money. And I don't know what that is. So Alexander, it sounds like you have a unique situation, which is what I run into a lot. Focus in on making sure that your content is unique and that you're promoting that content. That's the biggest advice I can give you, is it has to be unique and it has to be good enough that you want to share it with other people. If you were your customer, would you share that information? And a lot of people hear us say that, but they don't really believe it, or they don't really take it into consideration, because you just know that you have to get content out there. So you do, but it's not the best. If you're just about the distribution of information, it has to be the best. So I would make sure that you spend your time and money on that. What do I think is the most easy to use site for consumers? I have no idea, and I'm not sure what you mean about that. Google's pretty easy to use because you type in something and you get results. But if you can clarify that question, I would appreciate that. Amanda, with PageRank disabled now by Google, how are organizations appearing top 5 listed on a search? Is it more related to organic efforts, or does it also factor in the paid component? Organic search is completely separate from paid. I cannot stress this enough. A lot of my clients say, oh, but we did paid, and all of a sudden our organic placement increased. I can guarantee you 100% that those two things are absolutely unrelated. However, usually when somebody starts PPC, they start modifying their pages to help with conversion. They add more information, they update things a little bit more, and that typically results in better organic performance. But it is not if you give Google or Bing money, they will rank you higher. That absolutely does not happen. How are people ranking in the top 5? That is the question everybody asks. And that has to do with links, it has to do with relevancy, and it has to do with the usability of your site. If I had to narrow it down to 3 things, it's those 3 things. But I guarantee you that there are many instances where a page that does not have the most amount of links ranks first, because they are the most relevant, because it has the best information. I've seen it time and time again. Ranks do not equal ranking. Links do not equal ranking anymore, but they do help. They are the biggest helper when it comes to ranking. However, relevancy and usability, the relevancy of the content, is a major, major factor. Let's see if I can get to the next question. I think that was the last question. Amanda, do you see any more questions after Amanda's? Sorry, other Amanda's.
We actually just had a couple more pop up.
Okay, there we go. Dharma, you said, what do you mean links are an SEO factor? The links from other sites to your site are sort of like votes. There are good votes and there are bad votes. If you pay for votes, and I am likening this to an election, if you pay for votes, they don't really count. And all of Google's updates, all of Bing's updates, all of the search engines try to discount anything that might be links that are meant to mess with their ranking system. So they try to produce the best results for what the user is looking for. And that is dependent on how popular, how well linked to a site is. That's one of the biggest things. However, you do have to take into account the user's past search history, their preferences, how many times they've clicked on other things, what they've clicked on in the past, where they're located, where you're located, the information on your site structure. There's a lot that goes into it. It's just that your popularity based on the number of links is still the biggest factor. I hope that answers your question. Dharma, I'm not sure how else. ask me more questions. See if I can get down to what I'm not explaining if you ask me some more questions. Maria said, is it true that if I add links to my site that are not very popular, I will use authority and rank worst? No. So if you link to somewhere else, unless you're selling links, meaning if somebody comes to you and says, I would like a link from your site to my site and I will give you $20 for that. If you're found out, your site will and could and will be penalized for that, meaning you will lose your strength. Google will stop ranking you for that, and then they'll tell you that they have found out that you are selling links. If other people are, if you're linking to other people, if you put it there, that is not going to hurt you. It is absolutely not going to hurt you. And I'm a big believer in what I call link karma, which is linking out to as many people as possible, as relevant as possible. If somebody has a really good resource, don't go recreate it just because you think you can get links from it. If somebody created a really good one and you can't do better, link to that one. Linking to other people is a great thing, just like recommending other people is a great thing. But adding links to your site that go out to other people, as long as you think they're good, definitely put them up there. Okay, good. Thanks, Dharma. Is WordPress mobile device friendly? And yes, it is. It depends on your theme. But yes, WordPress's initial template is mobile friendly. It is responsive. But if you go and develop a site in WordPress, I highly suggest hiring somebody that can create a theme for you, or there are multiple theme creators out there that you can buy a theme that is mobile device friendly. I would just search for WordPress theme responsive, and that will give you a whole slice, a whole bunch of themes that are built to be responsive. Alexander, okay, so we have only a few minutes left, so I'm going to try to get through Alexander's question. Since knowing your customer is one of the most important factors in success, what is a good way to learn more about your online customer base? The best way is to go get their contact information and start with getting to know them online. If you have their email address, most likely you can find where they're hanging out online if they're hanging out online. If you have a site that has a profile that people fill out, possibly if you're an e-commerce provider, one of the best things to do is to add optional fields, not to the sign-up process, but into their profile, that they can share with you their own website, they can share with you their Twitter handle, they can share with you their Instagram handle, and if you put that in there and allow them to fill it in as they want to, then all of a sudden you have a database full of actual customer information. And if you can somehow tie that into how often they buy, how often they visit, really just depends. That's a really great way of going about it. But if you don't have a sign-in process for customers, the best way to go about it is to keep up with social media, keep up with who's commenting, who's on your email list, again, sending out surveys. But truthfully, it's going to be about going to your database of your customers, identifying who the best ones are, however that figures it out for you, and then contacting them and just having conversations. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Amanda because we are about out of time, I think.
Okay, that will be the end of our webinar today. This has been recorded and will be sent out to your email that you provided when registering for the webinar within 24 to 48 hours. We should be able to include the presentation and some additional links that we talked about during the Q&A session, so that way you don't have to go out and search all of this yourself, or if you don't happen to remember, we should be able to provide that for you. As always, feel free to reach out to us should you have any other questions. You can find us at pace.oregonstate.edu. Our email address is learn@oregonstate.edu, and we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. And with that, thank you for attending our webinar.
Thanks, guys.